Should the United States freeze immigration? It's November 13th, 2025, and these are your headlines. Representative Chip Roy is proposing what he calls a nationwide freeze on all immigration, all of it, until Congress overhauls the country's immigration system. Roy says he'll introduce the Pause Act, which would halt all immigration until lawmakers reform chain migration, end birthright citizenship, eliminate H-1B visas, and implement new cultural vetting requirements. Roy, who is running in a four-way Republican primary for Attorney General here in Texas, discussed the plan on the Benny Johnson show. He said the nation's record-high foreign-born population has created what he calls a cultural problem about who we are as Americans. Now, his proposal also calls for revisiting Plyler versus Doe. That's the 1982 Supreme Court ruling that requires states to fund the education of illegal alien children. Roy says his bill would require vetting immigrants for adherence to Sharia law as well, arguing it is contrary to the Constitution and Western civilization. The Texas Secretary of State's office has agreed to spend up to $1.25 million defending the state's open primary system against a lawsuit filed by the Republican Party of Texas, putting the state's top elections office directly at odds with the Texas GOP and Attorney General Ken Paxton. According to records reported today by the Houston Chronicle, Secretary of State Jane Nelson has hired two outside law firms. Underwood Law Firm can be paid up to $250,000 in their contract, while D.C.-based Clement and Murphy can receive up to $1 million. The lead attorney is reportedly billing $1,500 an hour. The lawsuit centers on whether Texas should continue using open primaries, where any voter can choose a party ballot at the polls, or move to closed primaries, which requires voters to register with a party ahead of time. The Texas GOP argues that open primaries violate its First Amendment right to free association. And in an unusual move, Attorney General Ken Paxton has joined the party's lawsuit, siding against the Secretary of State. Nelson, responsible for administering elections, is fighting to keep that current system in place right now. 73% of GOP voters supported closed primaries on the 2024 ballot.
But every day I run into something that I'm dealing with the county judge.
Judge Bray recused himself, but as we'll soon see, he couldn't resist reinserting himself into the process.
Signing notices, setting deadlines, accepting candidate applications, rejecting candidate applications. The dispute that ensued thereafter was centered on whether or not Judge Bray had the authority to do those things or should have been doing those things.
Head over to TexasScorecard.com today to watch our latest documentary, Kicking the Circle.
A proposed Islamic-focused development in North Texas may be moving forward under a new name, despite earlier claims from Governor Abbott that the project had been halted. The community, originally known as Epic City, would sit on 400 acres in Collin and Hunt counties, just north of Josephine. Now, over the weekend, Collin County Judge Chris Hill told residents that developers appear close to submitting their plans. The project now carries a new name, the Meadow. Hill says no plat has been filed yet, but officials expect an application soon, along with a request to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to form a municipal utility district. Spokesperson for the developers say the name change was meant to avoid confusion about whether the development would form its own city. Epic City was originally pitched as a Muslim-oriented community with homes, a mosque, and a school, something that sparked state and federal scrutiny. While multiple investigations found no legal grounds to block the project, Texas lawmakers responded by passing House Bill 4211, banning the development's original ownership model. Developers are still revising their plans, and county officials say more information is incoming. For now, the proposed site remains exactly what the new name suggests, a meadow. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.